President of the United States, with the unanimous support of the Congress, has declared a state of emergency across 32 states. If you can hear this message, your state has been included in this measure.
Test. This is your biohazard warning system. The following measures come into effect. We are announcing the start of the immediately effective nationwide quarantine, which has been officially approved by the United States government. Commencing at the siren, leaving your own household, even for medical or everyday errands, will be a criminal offense and will be punished with state-forced quarantine and, depending on the severity of the quarantine violation, death. Visits to relatives, neighbors, or friends will be illegal during this time. No one has been granted immunity from the quarantine. No citizen or group will be exempt. All emergency services will be suspended until further notice and cannot be reached. Every household will receive a monthly data volume of 400 megabytes in order to keep the network load under control. There is currently no time limit for these measures. We hope for yourself and your family to be prepared for the worst.
Waiting, open up your door. Oh Lord, heaven's waiting, open up your door. Lead me home, lead me home, lead me home, lead me home, lead me home. Leave me home.
Do you see this article? New legislation authorizes FEMA camps in the United States. This is up on Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com right now by Paul Watson. And you're like, Alex, you've shown us video of FEMA camps. You've been to FEMA camps. You've covered FEMA camps. The mainstream papers admit they've built FEMA camps. Why is this article so important? Why is this new piece of legislation so important, H.R. 645? Well, I went through a lot of that in the first hour today, but I want to go back over the main points and some other points I didn't flesh out entirely. And again, I'm going to have Paul Watson go over every point I made, every point he's made, and then put a link to all the stories, bills, legislation, the backup on all of that. And on screen, we've got some of the FEMA camps that they've built, the bar facing in for you. At old military bases predominantly. Now they're moving city, county governments into those as the true seats of governments. And this is total federalization, absolute, total, and complete tyranny. So we will go over that report. The importance of it is just completely off the charts. And I want to go back and remind you of May 24, 2006. We have the secret FEMA documents. And then over a year later, it came out in mainstream news that, yes, it was exactly as we said. Well, yeah, we had it from preachers, secret FEMA documents, training them to tell their flocks, go to the camps, turn your guns in, it's of the Lord. They're not doing all this for nothing. You know, they're saying, well, we're doing this now with the FEMA camps because of the economic collapse. You're going to have to go to them. And we're going to run your local cities. But, it's just because of the economic collapse. They've just been quietly setting this up for a long, long time. Secret FEMA plan to use pastors as pacifiers in preparation for martial law, forced inoculation, and so much more. And by the way, the pastor sent me these, and I said, okay, do I need to black your name out? And he said, yes. I said, do I need to black the fax number off? And he goes, no, it's a little local store. They don't even know me. I went to another little town. FEMA and Homeland Security went days after this story broke on our website, Butch Paul first covered it, but that didn't get the big attention it did on the show here. We had the preacher on. They went, because we left the fax number on there, put a bunch of pages up. I should have taken it off, but he said, didn't have to do it. They went, got the security camera tapes, found out what his car was, found out which preacher it was. And they walked in to the hospital where he volunteers. He has a large flock as well, but hospital where he volunteers said, "You're fired. Get out of here. You know why. Don't you ever talk about this stuff again." And then we talked to another pastor as well who was scared to come on air but gave us the same documents. People said, "Oh, it's not real. Oh, it's fake documents. You're just making it all up." And then it's been on the news. In fact, I don't have it loaded in the computer here, but we've never played it on TV. We've always aired the audio. Pull up FEMA pastors for martial law, and there'll be several newscasts. Cue that up during the break. I want to find one of those for later in the show. It'll be on YouTube. In fact, Paul Watson wrote articles a year and a half later when we were proven right. I cannot find words to describe how serious it is that FEMA came out and announced that they built all these FEMA camps for the American people, and now they're trying to pass legislation under Northcom to forcibly merge your local police, the National Guard, and everything underneath these systems. And they're going to have tens of thousands of preachers going around telling their flocks to go to the FEMA camps. Right now on screen right here, we have the newscast a year and a half after we broke it, admitting exactly what we said, but spinning it like martial law is a good thing and all this stuff's great. This is real. And just like in Nazi Germany, they'd say, "We're relocating you because of the economic downturn or the war to a place where you'll be safe." And then they're saying also troublemakers will have to be held in the camps. So this is how they're going to introduce it, get the local police and military to follow orders and go along with it. And then they can turn the heat up. So this is happening. This is going on. It's just the fact that we're reporting on that. So I want to be clear. The company isn't bad. They're allowed to be in business and sell this to the government. In the past, we would see articles about 1 million body bags ordered by FEMA, or 300,000 plastic coffins ordered by Homeland Security. And I mean, we've had all those articles. We just have never... But people don't care about an article or a news story. They want to see the coffins. So some folks in Georgia saw one of these facilities, and we've got Google photos of it and ground photos and video of it, and it is more than 500,000 of these giant coffins stacked outside. You'll have big stacks of lids and then stacks of the coffins, one inside the other. And they also have other systems that you can go read about. They also have urns for your cremated body. And this is in Georgia. The company is Polyguard Vaults, but they're in Alabama. This is a separate area, a FEMA leased area, just sitting right out by the side of a highway for the last couple years. And finally, we'd mentioned this before, but finally, this is really getting big news on the web, and a big report's being done by Kurt Nimmo right now. In fact, it may be up. I know he's working on it to have it up by the end of the show. Why are tens of thousands of plastic burial vaults stacked in a field near Madison, Georgia, is the headline. Polyguard Vaults, and you go to their website, and we also have photos of the trucks, giant 18-wheelers, huge 18-wheelers with these extra long flatbeds just totally stacked with the coffins that go one inside the other like plastic Dixie cups. And they're just all there. Now, we know this is FEMA. We know that these are coffins. Some people are debating that because we have all the news articles where it says FEMA's ordered coffins and body bags by the millions. This is just one stockpile just a few miles away from the Atlanta airport, which is the largest airport in the United States. So you can go there and look at these. Now, FEMA and the CDC say that they're, by the way, this is nearby the CDC, Center for Disease Control. They say that they're only doing this in case there's a mass biological outbreak. You've just got to remember that it's the government, the criminals that have hijacked our government, their National Security Act of 47,
who fully took over when they killed President Kennedy in '63, and now under PDD 51 openly says that the White House is a dictatorship and that Congress has no authority. The chairman of the Homeland Security Department for 6-7 months, it's been going on for 11 months total since one of the people on the committee asked to see the documents. They're not even allowed to see the fully declassified, / classified version. But on the cover sheet of PDD 51, Presidential Decision Directive 51, it says that the president is a dictator. People say, well, everything will be all right. Barack Obama will soon be in, or John McCain will. They're just puppets. They run nothing. They're there to carry out their orders. Understand? It's that executive branch that allows the private corporations that have hijacked our government to have, at least on the surface, the look of government. But a president declaring himself dictator is totally illegal and illegitimate. See, that's what you've got to ask yourself. Do you stand with the Bill of Rights and Constitution or with the New World Order? Do you stand with the Republic and the Founding Fathers or the dirtbag globalists?
Brothers and sisters, is entitled The King Alfred Plan. The extermination of blacks in America. One of the things that you should understand, brothers and sisters, before going any further is I want you to, prepare your psyche. Now, this message is not a spiritual one. This message is not a churchianity kind of thing. This message today is to let you know what's going on in our socio-political environment. Does everybody understand me? So kind of gear your head up for that, all right? And understand that I'm going to share some information with you in this message that's very disturbing. I'm telling you now. It's not meant to depress you. It's meant to make you aware. Because of the satanic, evil, and clandestine objectives contained in this program called the King Alfred Plan, it is imperative, it's necessary that those people whom God has called to be watchmen on the wall alert the people. There's a passage in the scripture that says, woe unto the watchman that sees danger coming and don't say nothing, because then the blood of the people will be on their hands. But when the watchman on the wall proclaims and cries loud and spares not and lifts up their voice, as the scripture says, as a trumpet in Zion, to show the people what's happening. If the people still fall for it, then the blood is off of the watchman's hands. Between the years of 1960 and 1964, an organization called the National Security Council. Have y'all ever heard of that before? I know you have, because we talk about national security memorandums. Well, the National Security Council developed a government program called the King Alfred Plan. This program actually details the arrest, detention, encampment, and extermination of the black and Hispanic or Latino population of this country. No other race of people have had a program written for them but the black, and of course in 1984 it was amended to include the Hispanic population. President Reagan, along with the ex-director of the Federal Emergency Management Agency, Louis Goffredo, proposed this amendment in 1984, on April 6th of 1984, And hence you have the additional code name Rex 84. It's important that you understand, brothers and sisters, why this program has been put in place. You need to understand the drastic measures that have been strategically designed for our destruction.